Here are 10 times when the Simpsons went too far. Lisa starts doing ballet, and in order to become a better ballerina, she starts smoking. Smoke on the Daughter starts with Marge coming across a commercial about a dance studio coming to Springfield. Lisa tells Marge she didn't know she cared about ballet.
Have I ever shown you my shattered dreams box? No. It's upstairs in my disappointment closet.
The most relatable metaphor for adulthood ever. Honestly, who doesn't have a shattered dreams box somewhere? Marge tells Lisa how she always wanted to be a ballerina, but her breasts came in and ruined her balance.
They came in one at a time.
Oh. Do you think mine are?
No, I'm pretty sure you'll have your dad's boobs.
Marge turning a ballet confession into a roast on Homer's genetics. Proof that even heartfelt moments in the Simpsons household come with a side of burns. Lisa convinces Marge to take up ballet again, and she does. Turns out she's still got it, but even though she's very gracious, her muscles and bones aren't what they used to be.
Get out!
You can't talk to my mom like that.
Lisa standing up for Marge is sweet, but nothing says family support quite like challenging an instructor while Mom's joints snap, crackle, and pop in the background. The instructor goes to fight Lisa, but then he notices that she's standing like a perfect ballerina. He offers to teach her, but she's reluctant. Then Marge swoops in.
We accept!
Even though her dreams were shattered, Marge will always support her kids, breaking generational trauma one muscle spasm at a time. Lisa is having some trouble with her ballet, and she asks one of the other girls for advice.
For every ballerina in the world, it's cigarettes.
Ah yes, the timeless wisdom of the ballet world. Pliés, pirouettes, and poor life choices, wrapped in a haze of bad influence. Lisa inhaled a lot of secondhand smoke while on her break, and when she returned to class, she was doing a lot better. The other ballerina pointed it out to her.
They don't call these dancer sticks for nothing.
I thought they were cancer sticks.
Ah, the transformative power of a ballet class. Turning lung pollution into performance inspiration. Nothing says dedication quite like hacking your way into excellence. Lisa is troubled by the fact that she might need to smoke or be near smokers in order to be good at ballet.
Time for a smoke.
Lisa confronts her ghost and tells her that cigarettes are for losers.
You mean losers like Simone de Beauvoir, Margaret Mead, Queen Elizabeth I?
Wow, pulling out the big guns, aka Lisa's feminist heroes.
Puff with us! Puff with us!
On her next ballet lesson, Lisa can't wait for a smoke break, but she realizes that secondhand smoke is not cutting it for her anymore.
I need first-hand smoke.
Oh my god, this is too much. She's 8 for God's sake.
Give me that!
Homer shoots the cigarette. Gee, Homer, I think it's out.
I can't believe how easy it is in this country to get cigarettes.
Apparently not as easy as it is to buy guns. Homer is in disbelief at Lisa's smoking, and he goes to confront Marge about pulling Lisa out of ballet, but then he sees Marge being all happy and glowing.
Lisa's dancing has made me really, really happy.
Damn it, Homer, don't give up now. Your 8-year-old is smoking.
Oh, fatherhood hurts my brain.
Dad, a little help?
You're on your own.
Because one family crisis is already too much on Homer's plate. Since it means so much to Marge, Homer allows Lisa to continue doing ballet, but she must not smoke or inhale secondhand smoke. She says she can't stop so easily, and Homer assigns Bart to follow her everywhere.
If you don't breathe it, that smoke might go into a baby.
Well, since you cared enough to apply peer pressure.
The Simpsons really outdid themselves with this one. Yeah, smoking is bad, but why force it this much? Bart sees that Lisa has fallen and he calls Homer. They come up with a crazy plan to let a raccoon into the girl's room to steal all the cigarette packs.
Found one!
That's your finger! I don't care!
This is a frightening, frightening view. The ballerinas go on stage and they're awful, stepping and bumping into one another.
Oh no, my appetite's coming back!
This is literally what nightmares are made of. Lisa stops the show and she wants to say a few words about the awful practice of ballet.
Ballet is unnatural and unfair to women. I shall now cast off the shoes of oppression.
Yeah, that's great, but what about the fact that they made an 8-year-old smoke? Okay, somehow I'll get over the smoking, but murder and assisting in murder, that's something I can't get behind. No children murdering children. In Dial N for Nerder, Bart and Lisa are kicked out of the house as Marge needs help to find out if Homer is cheating on his diet. So they go cycling in the park where they run into Martin, who's searching for old bones in the ground.
The bone's the very thing, methinks, to prank my sister and the dink.
Very clever, Bart.
It could be one of the major homos!
You're one of the major... Forget. Bart tied a rope to the bone, and while Martin was dusting it, Bart pulled the rope and Martin tripped and fell. Lisa tried to help him, but only made things worse.
Come on, wake up!
Wow, could those two be any more reckless? Bart, you can't just run away from this.
You're right.
I can bike away much faster.
Because running away from the fact you just murdered someone is too slow. You need to bike away. They come home and Bart just wants to relax and watch TV to drown out his thoughts when program is cut by breaking news.
So, Chief, what's your final word on the Prince Boy?
Oh, dead. Definitely dead.
The Simpsons really got us with this one. Bart and Lisa becoming child murderers wasn't on my bingo card. But Lisa's brain kicks in and tells him it won't do anyone any good.
You're saying we shouldn't tell the truth?
First, she turned into an accomplice for a murderer, and then she turned into a heartless liar. What's next, Simpsons, huh? The schools throw together a vigil for Martin, and it's not helping with Bart's guilt.
Martin was like Jesus, only real.
Bart, keep it together. People are looking.
Seeing Lisa this cold is giving me the creeps. Nelson grows suspicious over the fact that Martin fell off a cliff since he was afraid of heights, and he starts investigating. He finds the bone Bart used to prank Martin and starts asking questions.
Almost like someone was playing a prank on him. You like pranks, don't you, Dingus?
Nelson, being a smart investigator, also wasn't on my bingo card. What was happening with the writers in this one? I truly don't understand. Lisa finds a note from Bart saying he's going to the Prince house to end it all. Lisa rushes over there to stop him and sees that he's ready to hang himself. Murder, lying, and now even suicide. The Simpsons really took a dark turn.
You said you wanted to end it all.
By which I meant bring Martin's butterfly project to completion.
Phew, one crisis averted. Bart and Lisa are racked with guilt, and Lisa can't take it anymore, so she decides it's time for the whole world to hear that they killed Martin.
That's all I needed to hear.
Remember when we used to date? If you let me go, we can get back together.
And now we've come to sexual favors. Well, almost sexual, but it's close. And in that moment, Martin comes out of the shadows alive and well.
To quote Mark Twain, rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
This kid doesn't just ace tests, he aces dramatic entrances. He explains how his wedgie-proof underwear saved him, and he managed to find a way back home. Thank God Bart and Lisa aren't murderers.
I learned that beneath my goody two-shoes lie some very dark socks.
Oh, yes, Lisa, yes, it does. You surprised all of us. The two dealt pretty good, even though they thought they killed someone. But how do they act when new life comes into play? Bart becomes famous for making babies by using voodoo. In What to Expect When Bart's Expecting, Bart hates his new art class and also hates his new art teacher, who isn't doing anything wrong or annoying, by the way.
I hate art.
Oh, then it's protest art.
Stop encouraging me.
If only he knew he was going to become an artist in the future. Bart runs into Shauna and tells her he has to get rid of his art teacher somehow.
Easy. Voodoo.
Is there a voodoo queen you can direct me to?
Like, why are both of them so nonchalant about it? Bart goes to the woman Shauna suggested, and she gives him all the necessary equipment he needs to do what he wants to do.
Paper or plastic.
Plastic?
Just like the chicken would say you would.
That's unsettling. Bart does a voodoo spell on his new teacher, and it's actually kind of funny.
Then tear up chum. Send her home with aching Tom.
Okay, so far so good. No death wishes, no deadly diseases. Okay. The next day, Bart is bragging to his classmates when Mrs. Trunch walks in and announces she has a tummy ache.
A very special tummy ache. I'm going to have a baby.
Oh, that's not what Bart was hoping for.
Bart Simpson got a teacher pregnant.
That sounds wrong. Please rephrase. The word about Bart's insane fertility abilities spreads around, and a couple comes to him for help. They explain that they've been experiencing problems and they want Bart to help them. He agrees with the high price of $5.
Make a baby with a face.
That's great, really. Really glad we're getting a baby with a face.
Laugh now, but you'll see that this 10-year-old holds a lot of power. They get pregnant and Bart spreads his business even more.
They want a baby. God knows why.
Only I can't find my spatula.
Marge, your spatula holds a greater purpose now. It's making babies. Homer goes out to buy another spatula, and he sees Bart's baby-making tent.
I'll teach you to answer people's prayers.
The word about Bart's powers reaches Fat Tony, who kidnaps Homer and Bart and declares that he wants Bart to make a baby for his horse.
You will breed me a champion by morning, or it will be the last sunrise you ever see.
Bart is now supposed to make two horses mate, but Homer notices that one of the horses is, in his words, gay. Yep, gay.
I don't think this guy likes girls.
So, not only do they not use voodoo on a horse, but the horse they have is a homosexual. Amazing stuff, really. What were the writers smoking when they wrote this episode? The female horse likes another horse. Yes, this is actually happening. So Homer and Bart make a romantic atmosphere in order for them to procreate, because pregnant is pregnant, no matter who the father is.
Young love.
Homer and Bart playing Cupid for horses, because nothing says family bonding like setting the mood for an equine romance. If this isn't peak Simpsons, what is? Fat Tony lets them go since Bart got the job done. A year later, the family visits the horses, and they're one big happy family. The mom, the dad, the baby, and the gay lover.
Now that's what I call a modern family.
Modern Family theme song. But being a horse baby maker won't save him from wild accusations that could potentially ruin his life. Homer gets accused of sexual harassment, and he tries to prove his innocence. In Homer Bad Man, Homer has tickets for a candy convention and wants to take Marge with him. Marge hires a girl named Ashley to watch the kids. Bart starts messing with her immediately, but she's not gonna crack easily. She pulls out a video game and gives Bart an ultimatum. If he does some housework, he could play it.
See, Lisa? Nails aren't hard to tame. They all follow their video cartridges.
I like her, she's feisty. Homer and Marge come back from the convention where Homer stole some special candy, and he can't seem to find it now. Marge tells him to drop the babysitter home, and well, you know Homer, he can't control himself when candy is involved.
Precious Venus.
Oh my god, Homer, at least let a girl know she's got something on her butt, then pull it off. The next day, a group of women surrounds the Simpsons house with banners and posters saying, Homer Bad Man, Homer's a pig, and you pinch, we lynch. That last one is quite creative, actually.
There's the man that sexually harassed me!
Oh, no! For a minute there, I thought I was in big trouble.
How else do you call this? Nobody will believe Homer, even though he truly didn't harass that girl.
Come on, I'm a decent guy.
Decent and exposed, those two don't really go well together. Homer goes on a talk show to try and clear his name, but they only make him sound worse.
Pervert named Homer Simpson gave her a crash course in depravity, babysitter, and the beast.
Poor Homer, they really smeared his name good. Are even videotaping their house to see how he behaves.
I'm pretty sure that's Homer Simpson in the oven, rotating slowly.
That's mean on so many levels. Things are getting out of hand. Homer doesn't have a single friend in the world except for his family. Nobody believes him.
Maybe TV is right. TV's always right.
Come on, Homer, don't give up now. Accusations of sexual assault aren't forever. Oh, wait, they are. His own innocence campaign didn't even work. Then, one person comes forward.
My hobby is secretly videotaping couples in cars in this country. It makes you look like a pervert.
I think it makes you look like a pervert in any country, Willie, but do go on. Willie shows them his video, and you can clearly see that Homer didn't grab that girl's ass.
You know, the courts might not work anymore, but as long as everybody is videotaping everyone else, justice will be done.
Ah, Springfield's justice system. Forget the courts. Surveillance is king. Big Brother Willie saves the day with a handy side of irony. They show the video to Ashley, and she apologizes for her mistake.
Homer, I thought you were an animal, but your daughter said you were a decent man.
You're both right.
Homer Simpson, where decency and animal instincts meet in perfect, unapologetic chaos. But Homer's troubles are nothing compared to Bart's. Sideshow Bob gets out of prison ready to torment and kill Bart. In Cape Fear, Bart gets a threatening letter that says,
I'm going to kill you.
A handwritten, bloody note. I think that's a bit too much, even for The Simpsons. Bart can't seem to enjoy even Itchy and Scratchy, since, you know, it's full of violence, and a mouse is constantly thinking of ways to kill a cat.
Oh my god! Someone's trying to kill me! Oh, wait, it's for Bart.
It's Bart's problem now. Classic Homer, always ready to delegate danger. Bart is starting to get paranoid and he thinks everyone is out to get him. From Marge, to Flanders, to his teacher Edna.
I'm going to get you. Some ice cream at the store, since I'm saving so much money on Diet Cola.
But why did she emphasize it like that? Even I'd be scared. In the prison, Sideshow Bob is having a hearing, and they question him about the threatening notes he's been sending to Bart.
Bart Simpson? The spirited little scamp who twice foiled my evil scheme.
The attorney asks him about his chest tattoo, which says, Die Bart Die, because that's not threatening at all.
No, that's German for the Bart. The.
Oh, please. Could he be any more transparent?
No one who speaks German could be an evil man.
Ma'am, let me remind you of a story about a talented young artist who almost whipped out the entire nation and allegedly killed himself when he could not succeed. Anyway, Sideshow Bob has been granted parole and is roaming down the streets of Springfield. The family goes to the movies and a very rude man is smoking and laughing too hard, so Homer goes to tap his shoulder.
Ah! Sideshow Bob!
You wrote me those letters. You awful man, stay away from my son.
Yeah, that'll scare him straight. The family tries everything to scare Sideshow Bob out of town, but nothing works. Sideshow Bob drives through the neighborhood saying the names of all the people he won't kill. Of course, Bart's name is left out.
Woohoo! Did you hear, Bart? Oh.
Homer, damn it, do you not possess any tact? The Simpsons go to the Witness Relocation Program Center to try to get them to relocate their family. They do relocate, but they've brought their baggage with them.
Hey, kids! Wanna drive through that cactus patch?
Yeah! Yeah!
No!
Whoop! 2 against 1.
How did they not catch on to that? Bart is still on edge and can't relax. And Homer, barging into his room with a butcher knife in hand, sure isn't helping.
I'd appreciate you not coming in my room screaming and brandishing a butcher knife.
Why? Oh, right.
You know, a crazy person is trying to dismember your only son. And, you know, the reason you moved out. Yeah, that thing. Sideshow Bob boards their boathouse and lets it float down the river. He ties the whole family up and goes to finish off Bart.
Oh no! Dad's been drugged!
No, he hasn't.
No, Homer's just being Homer, sleeping through the murder of his son. But Sideshow Bob is a classy man before anything else. He wants to grant Bart his last wish, which is...
Anyway, I was wondering if you could sing the entire score of the HMS Pinafore.
Weird last wish, but sure. When Sideshow Bob finished his performance, he takes out his sword and goes to kill Bart. But the boat crashes, and Chief Wiggum is there to arrest him.
Yeah. It's a good thing you drifted by this brothel.
A piece of information we didn't know we needed. Bart explains how he got out of being brutally murdered.
I knew I had to buy some time, so I asked him to sing the score from the HMS Pinafore.
A smart plan indeed, but I hope Bart will be as smart the next time Sideshow Bob comes for his revenge, because we all know he will. Dealing with a homicidal maniac is one thing, but dealing with a criminal posing as an innocent babysitter is another. The Simpsons hire a babysitter who turns out to be a criminal. Some enchanted evening starts with Marge feeling bad about herself, since Homer isn't treating her like a real person. She calls a radio show to talk about her problems, but she doesn't know that Homer is listening to the same show at work.
Hey, isn't that your wife, Homer?
Don't be ridiculous. My wife worships the ground I walk on.
I wouldn't be so sure about that, buddy. The host tells her to leave her husband if he doesn't start treating her right.
Leave Homer?
Please, don't use his real name.
Leave Pedro?
Wow, you really know how to cover your tracks, Marge. Homer goes to Moe's after work, and Moe gives him some friendly advice. Take Marge out to a romantic dinner and show her some love.
Gee, a romantic evening. Nah, she's too smart to fall for that.
Homer, always making excuses not to take Marge somewhere fancy. This right here is a step-by-step guide on how to lose a woman in 10 seconds. Moe tells him to go to a nice motel later and really treat Marge with something nice. Homer finally agrees. He surprises Marge with flowers and chocolates and tells her his plan for tonight. Marge calls a babysitter agency to get a babysitter for the night.
Wait a minute. The Simpsons. Lady, you've got to be kidding.
Nothing says romantic night out like a babysitter agency collectively groaning at the mention of your last name. They get a babysitter and Homer and Marge go out. The babysitter lets Bart and Lisa watch TV and they come across a true crime documentary about a babysitter who is particularly dangerous.
Remember, she may be using a clever alias and should be considered armed and dangerous.
Leave it to Bart and Lisa to turn a cozy night of TV into a paranoid thriller, because nothing screams bedtime story like discovering your babysitter might moonlight as a fugitive. The babysitter ties Bart and Lisa up and starts ransacking the house. In the meantime, Maggie woke up and started wandering around the house. Lisa managed to get her to untie them, and they come up with a plan.
Maggie!
Now she knows not to mess with the Simpsons children. Marge calls home and no one answers, so they rush back to see if everything's okay. They find the babysitter tied up and immediately assume that the kids bullied her. He lets her go, but before she leaves, she gives him a piece of advice.
Don't turn your back on that boy for a second.
If only he knew the babysitter's advice was less about Bart's mischief and more about her escape plan. As the police approach, she speeds off and Homer starts yelling at Bart in front of policemen and newspaper journalists.
But I just had to untie your babysitter and pay her off so that...
Oh, Homer, not on live TV.
Are you saying to the world that you just aided and abetted the escape of the notorious babysitter bandit?
Oh, yes, he is. Loud and clear. Homer feels bad for his outburst on live TV and for letting the robber go.
Lord help me, I'm just not that bright.
A rare moment of self-awareness from Homer. Short-lived, no doubt, but a heartfelt plea nonetheless. Even when he's in the wrong, you can't help but root for Springfield's most oblivious dad.
If you raise 3 children who can knock out and hog-tie a perfect stranger, you must be doing something right.
Marge always coming up with the most delusional support. But seriously, writing a whole episode that revolves around a babysitter/robber who ties kids up and threatens them. Bit much, don't you think? Well, if this one didn't make you question the writers, wait till you see what comes next. Sideshow Bob Bob takes on a new identity and moves in next door to The Simpsons. The Bob next door starts with the mayor announcing that the city can no longer afford to fund some pretty basic things, like schools or prisons. Yeah, schools and prisons. So people start moving out of Springfield and a new neighbor moves in next to The Simpsons. Bart goes to introduce himself when...
Hello, Bart.
That voice.
Hello, Bart. Hello, Bart. Hello, Bart!
Ah! Sideshow Bob!
It can't be. Nobody believes Bart that harmless-looking man is Sideshow Bob, but Bart is convinced. He could never forget that voice. He tries to get his new neighbor to out himself by singing a Gilbert and Sullivan operetta.
Sorry, gentlemen, I am not a fan of that particular style of music.
It can't be Sideshow Bob. He could never resist singing along to an operetta. Bart's just imagining things. Or is he? Marge notices that Bart is going crazy, so she takes him to the prison to show him that Sideshow Bob is still in there, and that their new neighbor, Walt Warren, is just a regular man.
Walk fast, and don't call attention to yourself. If you was my wife, I never would have killed you.
Thank you. You're very sweet.
Only in Springfield can a casual stroll through a prison turn into a meet and greet with its most charmingly homicidal inmates. Marge's politeness in the face of that compliment, peak suburban mom energy. They see Sideshow Bob in his cell, and Bart finally realizes that their neighbor is just a random dude with the voice of a murderer.
That is Bob. Guess I was wrong.
I don't know, something seems odd about him, but nonetheless, they go home.
Guys, I'm married.
I do apologize.
Springfield prisoners may be ruthless, but at least they're polite enough to respect marital boundaries. Sideshow Bob escapes from prison that night and goes straight to the Simpsons' house. Walt also goes to their house to take Bart to a game, which he gladly accepts. Thank God he won't be there when Sideshow Bob shows up.
I'm not Sideshow Bob. I'm the real Walt Warren.
Say what now? If he's Walt Warren, who's with Bart?
You see, Bart, you were right all along. I am Sideshow Bob.
He explains how he tricked his new cellmate Walt and got out of prison. Since Walt was to be released due to budget cuts, Bob sedated him, peeled off his face, cut his own face, and sewed their faces back on. Unexpected? No. Disturbing and too far? Oh yes. Walt and the family go into Sideshow Bob's new house and see pictures of Bart on the walls with knives in them and a lot of other unsettling sights.
Man, that dude does not like Bart.
You think? They find a pamphlet with a sticky note that says, "Kill here," and they all pack up and drive there. Bob stops at a gas station where a waitress starts flirting with him and accidentally peels off his face.
No, don't! Ah! My face! My beautiful borrowed face!
The Simpsons get to the gas station and ask the waitress if she's seen him, but she lies. Walt says he thinks the waitress is lying to them because she probably fell in love with his face and wants to throw them off.
Walt, it's a nice face, but I don't think it would drive a professional waitress to lie.
I mean, sure, a face can turn heads, but lying to cover up a criminal is probably a bit more about the tips than the looks. They split up. The Simpsons go toward Mexico, and Walt stays en route. But the waitress starts flirting with him also, and pulls his face too.
All the good men are either gay or have no face.
Amen, sister. Sideshow Bob wants to kill Bart in the Five Corners, since his murder there would be unprosecutable.
You know, the great ones can kill without explaining.
Way to piss off your murderer, Bart. But as we somehow always seem to forget, Bart is very smart when he wants to be.
Ruining your plan. If you shoot me while we're in the same state, you go to jail.
Bart pulling out the legal loophole is a classic move. He might be mischievous, but when the stakes are high, his brain clicks into action. You've got to admire the kid's timing and cleverness, even when he's the one causing the chaos. Walt jumps out and tackles Bob, managing to take away his gun.
See, Bob, even you hate to see you.
They start fighting, and the gun ends up in Bob's hands again. But Chief Wiggum appears, and Bob doesn't understand how he found them.
You see, Bob, Bart was never convinced you were Walt. So before he left for the game, he called us and warned us to track you.
It's a bit of a, well, of course that's how it played out moment, with Bart outsmarting everyone once again. And it's nice to see Wiggum finally make a useful move, even if it's only because Bart had the foresight to clue him in. My question is, now, will they be switching back their faces? Because I can't see that again. Too much. Honestly, it's too much.
I am so glad everything's okay.
Well, not everything. Apparently, someone switched your face with a butt.
Of course, he just had to make a joke about almost getting murdered by a cold-blooded face swapper. Sideshow Bob won't stop until he succeeds. But will that day ever come? Sideshow Bob actually manages to kill Bart multiple times. Treehouse of Horror 26 starts with Sideshow Bob luring Bart in using Milhouse's phone. He kills him right there on the spot, something we never thought would happen, and neither did Bart.
Nice try, Bob, but I'm sure you made some stupid
mistake.
Peak Simpsons' dark humor, a mix of genuine shock and Bart's unwavering confidence. Even in the face of literal doom, he assumes Bob's downfall is inevitable. It's like Bart's last stand is built on his faith in cartoon logic. Too bad for him, Bob seems to have done his homework this time. Or has he? Wow, he actually did it. I can't believe he did it.
24 years of trying to kill a 10-year-old child have finally paid off.
After 2 decades of elaborate failures, he's gone full Shakespearean villain. But hey, even the Bard would say, killing a 10-year-old? Bit much, Bob. He starts playing with Bart's intestines and yuck, oh yuck, it just makes you want to barf.
Fortunately, it's after school hours. Goodbye.
I wish it was after school hours for all of us, because this is beyond disturbing. But Bob isn't happy with killing Bart just once. He wants to re-kill him over and over again. What a sick psycho.
It's time I move to my post-Bartum phase.
Post-Bartum phase? More like the post-sanity phase. Someone get this guy a hobby other than murder. Bob accepted a position as an associate professorship at Springfield University, but that's not really what he imagined.
I was a fool to think I'd find solace amongst these moronic, Snapchatting, gap-yearing.
Turns out teaching is less about molding minds and more about dodging TikTok references. Welcome to the real world, Professor Terwilliger. He takes Bart to his basement where he plans to revive him so he can find the meaning in life again. Sicko.
And now, Bart, let's bring the old spark back to our special relationship.
Sideshow Bob is officially redefining toxic relationships. Nothing says codependency like resurrecting your nemesis, just to keep the thrill alive. Creepy much? Doesn't this make Bob a cowardly killer? I mean, he can't bear to see Bart dead, so maybe he just doesn't have the guts to actually do it. Lisa and Santa's little helper find Bart and the family comes together to revive him.
Homer, pull the lever!
I've been pulling levers all day.
Now!
Imagine being too lazy to reanimate your own dead son.
Wow, for once I was sober at Bart's birth.
Homer's lever-pulling fatigue really sets a new bar for parental apathy. Reanimating your kid shouldn't feel like clocking in for overtime. At least he finally got to experience Bart's birth the way nature never intended. Stone cold sober and with some light necromancy. Sideshow Bob comes into the basement with a gun, but Homer hits him with a lamp. Lisa then reassembles the lamp and gives it to Homer so he can hit him again. They kill Sideshow Bob. Wow, ruthless.
May I have custody of Bob's body?
Normally, I'd say no, but you have been showing responsibility with the dog lately.
Nothing says family bonding like tag teaming to take out Sideshow Bob and doing some light home repairs in the process. And Marge casually granting custody of a corpse. Just Springfield parenting at its finest. Bart assembles the weirdest possible combination of limbs and body parts and makes Bob into a circus freak.
Any questions?
Yes, what are you supposed to be again?
Bart's masterpiece is part Frankenstein, part abstract art project, and 100% nightmare fuel. What's he supposed to be? A cautionary tale, obviously. Bart seems to be the center of every chaos story, so no wonder he'll be the answer to everybody's prayers once a deadly virus hits Springfield. Springfield is infected with a zombie virus, and the only immune person is Bart. Treehouse of Horror 20 starts with Kent Brockman reporting on the new Krusty Burger, which is a burger that is invented from cannibalistic cows.
We start with grade A beef, feed that to other cows, then kill them and serve the unholy results.
Oh my god, that's disgusting even for Krusty.
That's an abomination.
Now, Lisa, you're a vegetarian, but these cows have made a different choice.
I don't think any choices were made there. Kent tries the new Krusty Burger, and unfortunately for him, the burger is not what it seems. Within seconds, he transforms into a zombie known as a muncher. He bites Krusty, who also becomes a muncher. Only 28 days later and the whole town is infected. The Simpsons have boarded up their house completely and refuse to let anyone in, not even Grandpa.
How do I know you're not a muncher? I'm your father and I need your help. I can't make sense of that muncher talk.
Nothing says family loyalty like mistaking your dad for a zombie. Homer's dedication to survival is impressive, right up until it's hilariously misguided. Grandpa, muncher or not, you're on your own. Since the situation is quite severe, there's no leaving the house and they're left with eating only fruits. Bart doesn't like this one bit, and he's very hungry, so he goes out and gets a burger.
Bart ate a tainted burger!
I'll bash him with this book!
He didn't even think about it for a second. Bart is immune to the virus, and now they need to get Bart to a safe zone to find a cure. That's when Apu came to the rescue. Lisa asks him how he survived, and his answer is pure humor.
Well, as a vegetarian, I did not consume any tainted burgers, and as a convenience store owner, I am armed to the teeth.
Apu's survival strategy is a masterpiece of practicality and comedy. Who knew that a vegetarian diet and a well-stocked convenience store could be the ultimate defense against a zombie apocalypse? He might just be the least likely hero, but he's definitely the most prepared. They get as far as they can, and of course, Homer gets bitten.
Where do you want it? The mouth or the eyes?
Getting straight to the point. Marge says they can cure Homer once they get to the safe zone. Upon arriving, a soldier tells them they're going to eat his flesh in order to survive, but yet again, Marge steps in.
What kind of civilized people eat the body and blood of their savior?
Marge's reaction here is peak Marge. She's always ready with a moral stand, even in the midst of a zombie apocalypse. Her comparison to religious rituals makes it clear that while they might be starving, there are lines even the undead won't cross, and Marge's sharp wit refuses to let them forget it. Leave it to Bart to come up with the best plan.
And all we had to do was let Bart take a bath in our food.
Hey, Lise, want some soup?
Who knew a bath in food would be the key to survival? It's a great example of how Bart's mischievous nature can sometimes work in their favor, even if it involves a bit of questionable hygiene. Homer might be dealing well with all of this zombie stuff, but that's because he already has a traumatic experience in his past. Homer remembers a repressed memory from his past, and it comes back to haunt him. The blunder years starts with Marge accidentally buying burly paper towels and going to return them when she falls in love with the lumberjack on them and finds out that they are super absorbent.
Hey, you're looking at that spokesjack. Well, I can fantasize too.
A perfect mix of absurdity and a touch of charm. Marge finding romance in something as mundane as paper towels. Homer becomes jealous and tricks Marge, making her believe that Chad is going to come for dinner. Marge gets everything nice and ready when Barney comes at the door instead of her hunk. She feels humiliated.
Congratulations, I feel ridiculous.
Jealousy is not a good look on you, Homer. Homer feels bad, so he takes the whole family out to dinner. An Indian hypnotist performs hypnosis on Homer, which causes Homer's old memories to kick in.
Oh my God!
Do something, Miss Marino.
Homer can't stop screaming, like at all, day and night. Lenny and Carl bring him home from work.
Sorry, Mrs. S. He was kind of disrupting things at work.
They act like it's just another day at the office. No one seems to bat an eye at this increasingly bizarre behavior.
Oh, cool. He's still mental.
Yeah, your father reliving some childhood trauma is so cool. Carl and Moe both think that Homer had a traumatic past and had unlocked some repressed memories.
And there's your what you call repressed trauma. I mean, who likes getting money? It's terrible.
Yeah, I don't think that's it, Moe. Homer remembers one more thing that happened that day.
You found a corpse when you were 12? No wonder you've been so traumatized.
That actually explains a lot. They decide they're going to go to the quarry and try and find the body since there might be a murderer on the loose.
Yep. The old quarry is just a stone's throw away.
Well, at least he's making jokes now and not screaming uncontrollably. They get to the quarry where they meet Chief Wiggum, and they tell him they're investigating a possible murder case.
Oh, you mind if I tag along? I'm kind of a crime buff.
I mean, we figured as much since you are the chief of police. He helps them search for the body. Since there's so much water there, it's hard for them to search, but Marge has a solution. She throws all her super absorbent towels into the quarry, and they soak up all the water. Quick thinking Marge.
I don't get excited. It's just a skull-shaped rock and a bunch of white sticks.
You mean the body? They get into the pipe and reach the end of the line.
That means our murderer could be on the other side of this hatch.
Yeah, just casually open it up. See if you're the next victim. They open up the hatch, and they have a sight to see.
What are you doing in my corpse hatch?
You're what now? Chief Wiggum arrests Mr. Burns for murder.
Did I say corpse hatch? I meant innocence tube.
What's the deal with Mr. Burns and his innocence tube? Sounds like he's trying to cover up more than just his guilty conscience.
I've been expecting this day for 30 years. In a way, it's a relief.
Burns shows an old reel film proving his innocence. It shows that the body was Waylon Smithers, Sr., who actually died saving the town and his son from a nuclear meltdown.
Oh, dear.
Sir.
Oh my God, Smithers' first word was sir. Talk about setting your path. So now the mystery is solved, Homer can sleep peacefully.
Homer, shouldn't we give that skull to Mr. Smithers?
Why, he'd just bury it.
That's why. Even though Homer was greatly traumatized, at least he got some closure. At least now he has a cool anecdote. But really, writers, you had to give him this kind of trauma. Was it really necessary? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more from me.